Inflation is high and your country's a wreck, and you never know what to expect. Gas prices are high and your savings are dying. You can't thank Joe Biden. American people are having to choose between paying their rent or buying gasoline and groceries. Joe Biden, your policies stink. You can't thank Joe Biden.
Is your rent too damn high? You can thank Joe Biden. You understand? So, you may not like this, but I'll have you know that I am not the author of this article. I'm just doing you a friendly neighborhood public service announcement. Rent too damn high? Joe Biden's mass immigration agenda isn't helping. This is from February 10th, 2023. Now today, as of the recording of this video, this is August 22nd, 2023. So your rent may be even higher. Let's go. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so the zoom on this one doesn't work so well. Depends on how the page is shaped. Anyway, wringing his hands over higher home and rental prices, President Joe Biden last year unveiled the most comprehensive all-of-government effort to close the housing supply shortfall in history. Another case of a politician creating a problem and then announcing sweeping plans to fix it. So Joe Biden created this high rent problem, right? And housing supply shortfall problem. Now he gonna ask you to re-elect him for solving a problem that he created. Let's continue. Biden should take some time off from his Rube Goldberg-esque scheming and ponder the ill effects of his mass immigration agenda. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, before I even found this article, my common sense had already told me, rents are constantly going up, and they're going up even faster than the inflation rates that are also caused by Joe Biden. I wonder why. Maybe it's because you bring in over 100,000 people into this country illegally every month. Look, give or take a few thousand, right? And new homes do not automatically pop up out of the ground when they get here. They have to live somewhere. That's going to drive up the already high price of renting real estate that American citizens who live here already legally would have to pay. You can thank Joe Biden. The President's Housing Supply Action Plan, price tag unknown, aims to deploy new financing mechanisms and expand existing programs to ease the burden of housing costs. Additionally, the White House says it continues to urge Congress to pass investments in housing production. Well, you need to produce about 100,000 homes a month or more, since you're bringing in 100,000 or more people a month illegally. All this is happening as the Biden administration oversees historic waves of legal and especially illegal immigration in America. Oh, but some of you Democrats, right, especially you so-called Negroes, you think every time somebody says something against the Democrats, they gotta be racist. Well, I'm gonna see if your high-ass rent prices is racist. I'm gonna see if you love the Mexicans and Hondurans and Guatemalans and Brazilians and whoever else comes into the country illegally. I'm gonna see if you love them enough to not complain about this high-ass rent that you're now paying. Oh, but I'm so thankful that I was able to purchase a home before Joe Biden got into office. That's the only way I could escape these high rent prices, because I have a mortgage. Yes, the mortgage still costs some money, but it's not as high as your rent. All right. And I'm not making fun of you who did not vote for this idiot, right? And I'm also not making fun of people who, even if you did vote for Joe Biden, you still can understand that having an immigration policy with a border that is actually secure is not racism. It just means you need to protect your border, right? Oh, but I wonder why the immigrants from Haiti, right, who so closely resemble so-called Negroes, why Joe Biden was able to put them on a plane and send them back to Haiti, right? It sounds like if you white, it's all right. If you brown, stick around. If you black, they're going to send you back. Those Haitian immigrants, right, who look just like the Negroes here, the Democrats were able to send them back to Haiti real quick. But they let everybody else in. So this is not about hating Mexicans or hating Brazilians or hating people from wherever they from. It's about this high-ass rent. You see, economics is what this is about. So unless it's going to be 100,000 homes popping up out of the ground or 100,000 new apartment units popping up out of the earth automatically when these illegal aliens come up here, somebody's going to have to rent a place for them to live. That means you who already live here will have to pay higher rent prices because the demand is so much higher than the supply. That is basic economics, supply and demand. If there are only a few homes and apartments to rent, and there are thousands and thousands of more people who need a place to live, they're going to raise the prices of the rent. Facts, whether you like it or not. So call Trump racist if you want to. I'm going to see how much you love Joe Biden with these high-ass rent prices. Let's continue. So all this is happening as the Biden administration oversees historic waves of legal. See, we ain't even talking against legal immigration. Nobody's saying that nobody should be allowed to come. But look, and especially illegal immigration to America. It's too many damn people. Watch this. Biden cited a study showing a shortfall of more than 1.5 million residential units. It means we need 1.5 million apartments or homes for people to live in that don't exist nationwide. This has spiked housing prices and raised rents to the highest levels on record. That is Joe Biden's fault, not Donald Trump, not Mike Pence, not racist white people or white supremacists. It's not feminists' fault. It's not the LGBT's fault. Let me name any other group that gets political attention. You understand? It is Joe Biden and his stupid Democratic economic policy that these rents are the highest levels on record. See, if you bring in 1.5 million people here illegally who shouldn't even be here, where the hell they gonna live at? On the street? No, they're gonna live in the same homes, houses, and apartments that American citizens who were born here or who have lived here and worked here legally, the same homes and apartments you live in and I live in, these people got to live in. So now we got competition for the same damn apartment and home units. That's why the price is so high. Myopic media outlets, meaning they can't see, right? Blinkered academics, or they have narrow vision, right? And craven politicians don't connect the dots. Well, we connecting the dots here. But the annual influx of millions of immigrants, right, especially illegal, is clearly inflating the demand in an already overheated market for housing and increasing cost commensurately, right? So, according to an analysis not mentioned by the president, an increase in the number of immigrants equal to 1% of a metropolitan area's total population was linked with a 0.8% increase in rents and a 0.8% increase in home prices. That's just a 1% when they come in, right? This same increase in immigrants was associated with a 1.6% rise in rents and a 9.6% rise in home prices in surrounding metro regions. Now you paying another tithe. 9.6 is almost 10%. The church was already taxing you because tithing is taxation. You can look at one of my other videos, right? So now you got to pay an additional tithe. for your illegal immigrant brothers and sisters that you Democrats seem to love so much. So since you love them that much, don't complain about the high rent. At least don't complain to Donald Trump and Mike Pence. Don't even complain to Ron DeSantis. And you know I don't like him, but guess what? This rent is not Ron DeSantis' fault either. It's Joe Biden. And indirectly Kamala Harris, since she's on his team. Right? The effect of more people fleeing congested, immigrant-heavy urban centers. You got people trying to leave the cities where all of these immigrants is flooding their neighborhoods because it's driving the price up so high. Now the people who live in America legally got to find somewhere else to stay. You can't make this stuff up. So I'm not going to read anymore because I know they're going to try to make excuses for this BS. But give me just another moment. I'm going to read a piece of another article. All right, so this is an article from The Hill, and it says, let me find the title. Hold on. Wait a minute. The average American tenant is rent burdened. You understand? Here's what that means for the economy. For the first time in over 20 years, the typical American spends 30% of their income on housing. Coincidentally, this is dated February 21st, 2023, the same month as the other article, which was by a totally different news outlet or company. That means this is Joe Biden's fault, people. So let's skip on down. We're not going to read all of it. Here we go. The average American renter is now paying more than 30% of their income on housing, as wages have failed to keep up with rent hikes. And affordable units remain scarce, a new report shows. So let me break down. I don't have to be an economist, right, who works for Wall Street to understand this. Let me break this down. If the average American renter is now paying more than 30% of their income on housing, that's almost a third of their paycheck that's gone before they get it, just to stay living, just to pay the rent, right? Next, as wages have failed to keep up with rent hikes. I wonder why. Well, first of all, because companies view employees as liabilities, at least most of them. There's one type of company that's the exception, and I think that's software development, and they may be changing that due to AI and stuff coming in. Nonetheless, when you have an influx of illegal aliens coming into the country looking for jobs, especially these blue-collar, hard-working, low-paying jobs, these companies now have more desperate employees to do these low-skill, low-wage jobs that some Americans were depending on. So wages are going to stay low because now you got extra people who need a job so desperately that they're willing to accept the lowest wages because they up here illegally anyway. So that's part of why wages have failed to keep up with rent hikes. You can thank Joe Biden. Joe Biden's policy is making your rent go up and making your wages stay the same or get lower in some cases. That's why you're feeling poor right now. So it's inflation and illegal immigration on such a high scale that's driving rents up and driving your wages down. You can't make this stuff up. But I know somebody, right, especially black people who think they ain't black unless they vote Democratic, are going to overlook this. So I just want you to know, make sure when you keep voting for these Democrats without using your brain, understand, I'm not telling you to love Donald Trump, and I'm sure enough not telling you to love Ron DeSantis. What I'm telling you is to use your brain and stop thinking that somebody's racist just because they not a Democrat, right? Start using your brain when you vote and make your decisions. Otherwise, you're going to keep voting for these Democrats on the plantation, and they're going to keep your ass broke and poor, and then you're going to be asking Jesus, God, Allah, Buddha, and everybody else, look, Muhammad, to help you out of your poverty and help you pay this damn rent. And then you're going to pay 10% more to the church and wait for God to open the windows of heaven. He ain't opening the windows of heaven to fix your stupidity. He ain't doing that. He already has blessed you with income. It's time for you to stand up and demand that your so-called president or governor or councilman, alderman, mayor, legislature, whoever in your local, state, and federal government respects you as an American citizen and makes decisions that's best for you, not somebody from another country. You need to take care of home first. Now, if a man has a wife and children, and he's taking care of another woman and her children on the side more or better than he's taking care of his own wife and children, all of you on here would say that that man is a fool, or he's evil, or he's wrong, or he's a two-timer, whatever. You would have no problem saying he's a fool for taking care of somebody else's house first. So why in the hell can't you see that Joe Biden and these dumbass Democrats who always play the race card, right? I'm not saying there's no racism, but damn, all they do is play the race card to cover up for their dumbass policies and decisions. You need to take care of American citizens first, because this is where you live and you are their president or their governor or their politician. I thought. But maybe that's why Donald Trump called him Beijing Biden. Maybe that's why Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, has been making money, millions of dollars, with some deal in China or somewhere, right? And Joe Biden pretending like he didn't know. The president didn't know that his son was making millions of dollars with a foreign country that is an economic enemy of ours. You can't make this stuff up, or at least the economic rival. Let's put it that way. The nation is falling short of the demand for affordable housing by at least 1 million homes in some estimates. Well, there you go. The federal government defines rent burden as paying more than 30%, that 30% threshold. So if you made $1,000 a month, and I know that's not really accurate, but just make it easy. If you made $1,000 a month, if you pay more than $300 a month out of that $1,000, your rent burden, according to this definition. If you make $2,000 a month, then if you're paying more than $600 a month in rent or mortgage, then your rent burden, right? If you make $4,000 a month, you see, then if you pay more than $1,200 a month, your rent burden. And we know that if you making $4,000 a month, you most likely paying more than $1,200 a month in rent. You know you are. And that's why you can't afford any type of investments. You can barely afford anything while you're out here pretending that it's all good when it's not. The typical American renter now falls in that category, according to a recent report from Moody's Analytics. This marks the first time that's occurred in the more than 20 years that the ratings agency has been tracking the metric. Let's see. 2023 minus 20 is 2003. It said it's been more than 20 years from here. So in those years, we've had President Bush, we've had President Obama, we've had President Trump, and we've had President Joe Biden, right? And before that, we had Clinton, if you want to go beyond 20 years. No matter which one of those presidents was in office, this never happened until we got to Joe Biden. So I'm telling you, it's his fault. So go ahead and vote for him again if you want to. But just make sure when you do, when your rent is too damn high, that's what you voted for. So you can thank Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Have a good day, people.